Okay, here we go. Guess who's back? Last week we got to play the best of because of my vocal cords being gone. But today, Dr. Joel Fuhrman is back, and this time we're going to talk about how to age slowly and extend your life. And so fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together. And Dr. Fuhrman, it's time to dance. I love it when I say it's time to dance. You go, I won't do that. Not appropriate. Here we go. And, I think it's the 15th caller or texter is going to win this book. Had to remind myself. Right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today, we have the most wonderful guest that we've ever had on the show. Dr. Joel Fuhrman has been on the show for over 2 years. Once a month, he's here. He's been a friend of the show, and I just absolutely adore him. Last week, I lost my voice, and we played the best of, and so he's back this week. This is how committed he is, and I'm just so grateful because today we are giving away for the 15th caller that leaves a message or texter. That text, 407-373-5959. We're giving away the book, The End of Dieting. And today we're going to be talking about how to age slowly and extend our life. And let me tell you, if you haven't had your G-bombs today, your greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, then you will want to after the show is done. Or maybe while you're listening, you can eat them, especially if you're not driving. So today we have world-renowned New York Times bestselling author, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and he's going to teach us how to achieve, and this is something that I have questions on, moderate caloric restriction. And he will also teach us the secret to aging slowly. Now, who doesn't want that? So we all want to age slowly. We all want to extend our life, especially if it's a healthy life. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Dr. Joel Fuhrman is back to do just that. Welcome back, Dr. Fuhrman.
Thank you, Lily. Great to be here.
It is always great to see you. Now, there are people, believe it or not, that, we've had you on the show for so many years, but there's still people that don't know who you are. And so I thought this would be a great introduction for people who stumble upon the show, maybe have never focused on nutrition as medicine. And so share a little bit about your background and what led you to this passion that you have today.
Well, I've been in practice as a medical doctor now for almost 30 years. I went to medical school with the specific purpose of becoming a physician specializing in nutrition. I'm a board-certified family physician, but always use nutritional research as the foundation of my care for people. Structuring my practice so people knew they could come to me to get well from autoimmune conditions, lose weight, get rid of diabetes, reverse heart disease, not get rid of headaches. In other words, what you would go to a conventional doctor for, people would come to me to get totally well and not to take a drug to remain sick and dependent on medications for the rest of their life. So I gave people tremendous hope that, and my practice is based on a strong criticism of conventional medical care, which focuses on surgical procedures and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And not that emergency care isn't necessarily important, but the treatment for chronic disease is barbaric. And the foundation of the treatment for chronic disease with drugs like high cholesterol and diabetes and headaches and autoimmune conditions, I consider that foundational principle to be malpractice, because they're giving people severe toxins that cause cancer, meaning the medications, and the person stays sick the rest of their life, but they feel a little better. And they age them quicker, and and instead of telling the people that they could have changed their diet, changed what they're eating, made a total recovery, not needed medications the rest of their life. We never had medications for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, autoimmune conditions, and all these things people take drugs for, and headaches, and we could focus on removing the cause and allowing the miraculous healing power of the body to heal itself. So my tremendous gratitude and satisfaction is watching people make tremendous health recoveries and get well. So that's what I went to medical school for, and that's what I've been doing for the last 30 years.
Yeah, Dr. Ron Weiss shared on the show that when he was in his third year of medical school, he was told by the dean of the program that he was in that if he thinks that he's going to heal people, to think again that what they will do is manage medication. And at that moment, he realized that that was not what he wanted, but he played the game, he finished the race, and now he prescribes broccoli and nutrition and all these wonderful things. And he thinks very highly of you, Dr. Fuhrman, and he credits you for much of his education, or what his way of what he does today to help people at Ethos Health. And so, also I've had doctors say to me, these are allopathic doctors that don't embrace the same philosophy or the same medical evidence that you have shared so many times on the show, that they don't talk about diet because they don't know about diet, and they don't know how to guide because they think that they're not going to do it. The patient's not going to do it. So the doctors have confessed to me that why even bother if they know they're not going to do it. But today we're going to talk to Dr. Joel Fuhrman, 15th caller or texter to leave a message, 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide with Dr. Joel Fuhrman. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. Did you see the countdown? Do you have your chat open?
Yeah, I see it.
I was looking at it said 3 seconds, 23 seconds, and then went back to 1. And I'm like, oh, am I going out or not? Okay. So the end of dieting. What I mentioned about Dr. Ron Weiss, that's always stuck in my head. When you were going to medical school, Dr. Fuhrman, did you feel that you had to play the game until you were gone, or were you vocal about your belief back then?
Yeah, there's a big difference. Ron went to medical school and became a conventional physician. We went to medical school with the purpose of becoming a conventional physician. He found out about nutrition years later.
Yeah.
I was into nutritional excellence before I went to medical school. It was the reason why I went to medical school. So I was not only vocal, I was made chairperson of the Nutritional Education Committee at University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine. And they helped, they designed a custom curriculum to help, so I could have more time to pursue my interests. The point I'm making is that, yes, I was openly vocal and somewhat controversial even in medical school.
I'm not surprised, Dr. Fuhrman. But here's the thing. You learned at a very early age what taxing the body will do through your mom. Your mom was a great teacher for you. And
no, she wasn't.
Well, she taught you what not to do.
No, she didn't. She smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
And we had to hide her cigarettes and make her quit. And when my father was sick and ate healthy foods, she still continued to eat unhealthy.
No, but she taught you what not. So she taught you what not to do. So
I see what you're saying. You're saying my mother, because my mother did not adapt this way of eating till many years later, and I was instrumental in her eating healthier when she got older as an adult. But as a child, she was not a healthy eater. She was an unhealthy. Yeah. Having an unhealthy lifestyle. You follow me?
Yes. And that's why you said that you guys stopped. You made a decision that you would stop buying cigarettes for her.
Exactly. Right.
She taught you to take a stand. Take a stand and believe, because, we are all teachers, believe it or not. We can teach people how to be and how not to be.
Right. Got it.
Here we go.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 4.
I just absolutely love when you're here. You teach me so much every time.
Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. Today's teacher is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. I want to remind you that we are giving away The End of Dieting, Dr. Joel Fuhrman's book, and it's the 15th caller or texter, 407-373-5959. Now, I don't answer the phone during the show, so it's 407-373-5959. 15th caller or texter, The End of Dieting is for you. I'm so excited, Dr. Fuhrman. You know, you have been such a great teacher of mine, and you have said something that was so profound in the last couple of shows that I've adopted it as well to my speaking and thinking. And you said the words. Whoa. Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay, Dr. Fuhrman.
Setting it off.
That's okay. Good. That's good. Hey, this is live radio. Okay. So the profound statement you said was, what if there was not a pill to cure us? What would we do? That statement right there, because as you know, my registered service mark is you can take a pill or you can take responsibility. Let's talk about this. And
by the way, pills don't cure anything.
That's right.
They don't cure us.
That's a true statement. Yeah.
They push the symptoms under the rug so you don't see the dirt.
So let's talk about that. Let's awaken people that think that this pill is going to heal them, that this is their God. In reality, we were created, our body is created to heal. So there isn't. So it's true. The statement that you made, what if, is true. It's not a what if, it's real. So let's talk to us about this reality that there is no pill out there that can cure us.
Well, the major cause of chronic illness and premature death and dementia and cancer in America and most of the modern world is what people are putting in their mouth. Mm-hmm. Other than cigarette smoking and inhaling asbestos and other toxic fumes, but the major cause, even as smokers, the major cause of lung cancer, a major cause is poor diet with smoking. Areas of the world like the Fiji Islands that eat more green vegetables and eat healthier have lower rates of lung cancer, even though they smoke a lot. Mm-hmm. The same thing is true with skin cancer. Sunlight, excess sunlight, and skin and repetitive burning your skin can increase risk of skin cancer. But what you eat plays an even bigger role because your skin becomes more resistant to the damaging effect of sun when you're eating a healthy diet. But the point I'm making right now is that most people in the modern world suffer from and die from cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, strokes, both hemorrhagic stroke and embolic stroke, and of course various forms of common cancers. And those diseases that kill us are the result of our modern diet style, and that those things don't have to happen. None of those diseases have to occur, and people can make a choice to live to be 100 years old in great health and not have those things happen to them if they want to eat a diet that's focused on nutritional excellence. And the other thing is it's not just killing us 20 to 25 years prematurely. It's also creating a tremendous amount of suffering with mental illness, depression, which is now 1 in 5 Americans are mentally ill compared to 1 in 100 years ago, which is caused mostly by what we people eating, by their diet, which affects the brain just like it affects the body. Mm-hmm. And of course, the people suffering with chronic headaches, fatigue, and autoimmune conditions like psoriasis and rheumatoid arthritis and ulcerative colitis and lupus and Sjogren's syndromes and all types of diseases that could ruin their quality of life. And they go to doctors and take chemotherapeutic agents that cause cancer as a means of feeling better. The point I'm making is that if we never had these drugs to lower blood pressure, to treat diabetes, to treat type 2 diabetes, to autoimmune conditions for headaches, then maybe we'd be focused on getting people to eat a healthy diet and get rid of their cause, and everybody would get well. We wouldn't have people with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes would not exist. Nobody would suffer with headaches and fatigue, and autoimmune diseases would be impossible to occur if people adopted the excellent nutrition as the means of treatment. Instead, now they're sick their whole life, and on top of their toxic, malnourished body, they're putting drugs that are carcinogenic and toxic on top of the sick body to suppress the symptoms. So not only do they stay ill, become drug dependent, but they also greatly accelerate their rate of aging and their premature death by the use of medical care. So medical care, by conventional standards, medical care is the third leading cause of death in America after heart attacks, after cardiovascular disease and cancer. But the cause of medical care is a cause of death is incredibly underestimated, because that's just incorrect medical care. They don't even talk about how they correct medical care or following the cookbook care how much it accelerates death.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, I'm trying to through my practice of the last 30 years, people who wanted a different approach can come to me with hope that they can get rid of their rheumatoid arthritis, get rid of their chronic migraine headaches, get rid of their psoriasis, Sjogren's syndromes, and sclerosis, and make complete recoveries, and get rid of their type 2 diabetes, reverse heart disease. Excuse me.
Okay.
In other words, the hope and the reality that they make total recoveries is tremendously fulfilling and rewarding for these people. And there's so many thousands of people that their lives have been miraculously changed and no longer dependent on medical care to feel better. Okay. In many cases, the medical care doesn't make you feel better; it makes you feel worse, because, as people know, the side effects of drugs can be very troubling as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things I love about a nutritarian lifestyle, which, by the way, nutritarian is not just greens, beans, mushrooms, onions, berries, seeds, and nuts, but there's a component. It's a combination of the micro and macronutrients. Dr. Joel Fuhrman is so good at explaining that. And you can listen to some of the past shows at whenyounneedafriend.com. And Dr. Fuhrman and I have talked about many issues. And you can also go to drfuhrman.com if you want more information as well. But one of the things I love about eating a nutritarian lifestyle, whole food, plant-based, is that I don't restrict myself from eating as much as I want. And I know that part of what we're going to talk about here is restricting caloric intake. And I'm wondering if you're meaning, as well as these people that are eating foods that are processed, or because when it comes to following a nutritarian lifestyle, I eat till I'm full. Does that make sense? I mean, am I doing this wrong?
Then you're not following a nutritarian lifestyle.
Okay, so tell me more about it.
Eating till you're full means you're chronically overeating.
Well, okay. Well, till I'm satisfied.
That's different.
Okay, there you go.
Eating till you're satisfied.
Yes.
Because full means, for most people, they've chronically overeaten their whole life. They're almost encouraged to overeat, and size is being glorified in America. You want your biggest children to grow the fastest, and you overfeed them from birth, and you give them treats, and you encourage them to eat more with highly processed and flavored foods, and they become chronic, over-calorically consuming people that are now addicted to too many calories, and they become so addicted to the calories, they don't even feel well if they don't overeat calories.
Yeah. So
most people eating till full means eating till they're uncomfortable.
No, I can't eat till I'm uncomfortable. I've learned to eat slowly, and by eating slowly, it's allowed me to catch up to my brain. My body and my brain have caught up. So no, but what I'm saying, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry because I eat the foods that you prescribe. Okay,
but I have to make something clear about that, because the secret to longevity is being able to get hungry. I just want to make this clear.
Okay.
That if a person is never getting hungry, then they're chronically overeating still. And that's what differentiates this point of what I'm talking about here of slowing the aging process.
Okay.
Is that hunger, that hunger tells us we need more food. If you're never getting a signal that you need more food, it means you're chronically overeating all the time. So hunger puts your appetite in check, because it says, oh, I'm hungry tonight. That means I didn't overeat at breakfast or lunch because I got hungry for dinner. If you never get hungry for dinner, it means you're chronically overeating for lunch. Mm-hmm. If I never got hungry, it means I'm chronically overeating. So when they say, oh, eat this diet, you'll never be hungry. Well, then that's not going to be the maximum way a person can live long.
So we want to feel hunger.
Yes, you want hunger to direct you to the right amount of calories. In other words, if you moderately undershoot your caloric needs for the day, you'll age slower. That's one of the points we could talk about.
Yes.
But and eating a diet high in nutrient-rich plants makes our hunger very comfortable. We don't become uncomfortable with hunger, and we desire less calories. That's all true. And we don't want to get too thin, of course, but when our metabolic rate slows a little bit to prevent us from becoming too thin, but we can get by with a little less calories. But the point I'm making right now is that hunger is the best sauce. When you get hungry before you eat, it directs you to eat again. When you get hungry, you eat. But the fact that you got hungry and then you ate, the food tasted better, but it also showed that you finished burning up the calories from your last meal before you put another meal in your body.
Mm-hmm.
If you got hungry, if you ate again before you got hungry, then you're putting another caloric load on the body before you utilized or burned off your last caloric load. So that means you're chronically overeating. I'm not saying I get hungry before every single meal, but I do want to, overall get hungry frequently, at least once a day. I want to make sure I'm not overeating. So I want to sometimes wait till I eat again, wait to eat till you get hungry, or eat a small enough meal so I know I'm going to be hungry for my next meal. So what I'm talking about is that not only does hunger make food taste good, if somebody comes to me in my office and they say, "Hey, Joel, I made this incredibly great soup. It's the best soup I ever tasted. You got to taste it." I'll say, "Thanks so much. I'd love to try it, but I'm going to hold it. I'm not going to eat it now. I'm put it in the refrigerator, get it later when I'm hungry. I'll enjoy it much more when I'm hungry. I'm not going to eat it if I'm not hungry." So the point I'm making right now is that's one of the most important secrets to slowing the aging process is trying to put more time between meals. And if you're not hungry for 3 meals a day, do 2 meals a day. And if you're chronically not hungry during your 3 meal, then perhaps if you're not hungry for lunch, then maybe you ate breakfast, too big of a breakfast. If you're not hungry for dinner, maybe it's too big of a lunch. If you can't, so in other words, we want hunger to direct you to the right amount of calories, and the hunger can direct you to not overeating. And some evenings, sometimes I'll eat a very light dinner, and I want people to have a small dinner and eat early enough so they go to bed on an empty stomach, because this conversation is about maximizing human longevity. One of the most important criteria to maximize human longevity is going to bed at night on an empty stomach, not going to bed on a full stomach. That means not eating late at night. So sometimes I'll eat dinner very early and I'll be hungry before I go to bed, and I'll just go away and I'll go to sleep. Or sometimes if I come home late and can't eat and haven't eaten dinner early, I'll eat a light dinner because I know I'm going to sleep. I'll just have a glass of juice or have a piece of, something light. But the point I'm making right now is that we want to extend the catabolic phase at night. That's the most important time to have an extended catabolic phase. We want at least 13 hours of no food coming in between the end of dinner and the start of breakfast. And a recent study showed that followed women with breast cancer for 10 years and showed that women who had a 13 or more hour window, or 13 or more hours at night, had a 71% decreased risk of death from breast cancer over that 10-year period compared to women who ate the same diet who just ate later at night. So it's a combination of not eating as frequently, having a longer window and not going to bed on an empty stomach, and trying to eat the right amount of food, the right type of food and the right amount of food, and letting hunger help you guide you with the amount of food you should eat.
It's interesting, Dr. Fuhrman. By the way, 15 caller or texter, 407-373-5959 will get you the copy of The End of Dieting. That's 407-373-5959. 15th caller to leave a message or texter. Okay, so I remember we did a show on how about the metabolism. And we hear so much about speeding our metabolism. And I learned from that show that we want to have a slow metabolism because that will help prolong our life. And so I was completely blown away by that realization. We have been told so much myths out there about the reality of our metabolism. And we're going to continue talking with Dr. Fuhrman about this reality when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. For you, call 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. 15th caller or texter will win a copy of The End of Dieting. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so this is amazing. Interestingly enough, I'm always hungry. But I'll eat just enough to get satisfied. And I had mentioned that to you. I was doing the 10 and 20 detox. And I said to you, after I'm done eating breakfast, a couple hours go by and I'm hungry again. And you said, well, eat more.
That's beautiful. So you are getting, so that means you didn't overeat or you underate. So that was great.
Okay, but I thought that I'm a little bit confused because you're supposed to have 3 meals, snacks in between. No, I mean, it's like you're supposed to go as long as you can fasting in the evening. And now we have all these people that are fasting like 20 hours a day and having just 1 meal. I mean, there's so much confusion out there, Dr. Fuhrman. Set us straight. We're recording right now for people who are watching us on YouTube. Set us straight on this whole, fasting, how frequently, because I feel like I'm always hungry. And I feel like sometimes that I am missing the mark. What's wrong with me? I'm always hungry. but so I'll eat until I'm satisfied, and then I'm hungry again 2 hours later. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I'm just like constantly.
Sometimes me too. I mean, that's sometimes
Really?
I'll have a breakfast. I'll feel like I had enough food, but out of my activity and exercise I did, I got hungry mid-morning, or I got hungry like 2 or 3 hours later, and I really, so I just eat more food. Hunger. So it's okay. Hunger, if it's true hunger, felt in neck and throat, it'll direct you to the amount of calories you need to maintain your perfect weight, or the weight that your body's at. Most Americans don't get that. They feel shaky and weak. They don't feel real hunger, neck hunger. So when the glycogen stores in your liver and in your muscle tissue after you eat a meal, and when the glycogen stores go down, so there's not much glycogen left, you get a signal of real hunger to eat again to refill your glycogen. So that's okay. But of course, like you're saying, at night, I want the catabolic window to be too much longer. You may be able, because of hunger and being a heavy exerciser or doing a lot of physical activity, a person may need to eat 4 times a day, or a person may need to eat 3 times a day, or 2 times a day, based on the activity level of their own individual metabolism. But I still want them to try to finish dinner early and not and have a big window between the end of dinner to the start of breakfast, because in the catabolic phase, when we're not digesting food, we do the most healing, repair, and anti-aging phenomenon that occurs during the catabolic phase when we're not digesting. So even if you didn't eat a big enough breakfast, instead of having more hemp seeds and little more calorically rich foods at breakfast, so you can get to lunch without being hungry. If you had a lighter caloric breakfast and you got hungry in the middle and you ate a little bit, not so terrible. That catabolic phase is not the most important one. The most important catabolic phase is the one at night that we want extended. And these people that are trying to consolidate their digestive or their eating window between like 11 and 4, so they have like that 5-hour eating window, and then they're mostly not eating it. It's making a good point. I don't think it has to be that rigid or that narrow.
Just follow your own rhythm.
Yeah, follow your own rhythm. It could be a little bigger window. You could be eating between 8 and 5 or 8 and 6 in the morning. 8 and 6, from 6 to 8 is still 6 to 6 would be 12 hours. Another 2 hours that still would be a 14-hour window. So a 13 to 15-hour window is probably ideal of having no food each night. People can't comfortably do that unless they're really eating a healthy diet, because they don't feel well enough and they don't need to constantly put food in their mouth frequently. So eating healthier helps you feel more comfortable and able to extend that catabolic window at night. And also what I'm saying right now is, if people are saying, oh, I'm on this great diet, I never get hungry. Well, that means you're not on a program that's going to magically extend your life, because if you're never hungry, you're slightly overeating all the time. You have to get hungry once in a while to show you that you undershot your calories, so you're not overshooting your calories. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes. I get it. It's interesting. I was told by a doctor that, because I was waking up in the middle of the night and I was hungry, and the doctor said, oh, just have some protein before you go to bed. Eat some eggs, have some this, some that. And so I started doing that, and it didn't make a difference for me. And, it was just a matter of having to make sure that I had everything done, writing list. I know that when I am busy, I don't get hungry. But when I am like sitting at my desk working and maybe writing or doing it, I'm like constantly getting up and getting like tiny little nibbles. So I wonder if I eat when I'm bored.
Well, people do that, but that's not real hunger.
I know, but I feel hungry. I feel hungry. But anyway, okay, so let me identify the show,
or leave her a voicemail at
and I'll reintroduce you.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I'm your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn from each other, go through life with childlike wonder. The person in front of you can be a teacher, it could be a student, but either way, we need to learn from each other. We get to learn from one another. And Dr. Joel Fuhrman is not only a world-renowned leader in our community about nutritional excellence, he is also our teacher on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show today. I want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, become a subscriber, share it with your friends that this is a place where we come together and take ownership of our life, where we learn new truths. I mean, we've been told so much, and there's so much confusion. And Dr. Joel Fuhrman is the person I go to when I want a tiebreaker. If I want to discern what is right for me or not, I listen to what he has to say. And for the last 2 in 2 years, over 2 years, Dr. Fuhrman has been a part of my show and a great teacher of mine. I encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, not only to listen to the shows with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, but to listen to all the shows that can help heal your body, mind, body, spirit. And so if you haven't done it already, please go to whenyouneedafriend.com, become a subscriber. While you're there, check out my sponsors, because without my sponsors, this show would not happen. So check out my sponsors as well and figure out ways that you can support them the way they're supporting the show. When you become a subscriber, you also get my 90-day challenge to self-love ebook, and the show gets delivered to your smartphones or tablets. And also you can go to YouTube and watch this video on the conversations on and off the air. Today we have Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and I want to encourage you to be the 15th caller or texter, 407-373-5959. I don't answer the phone, so call, leave a message. The End of Dieting for Dr. Joel Fuhrman. This is an excellent book. It was the first book that I read for Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and I've been hooked ever since. So that's 407-373-5959. Dr. Fuhrman, during the break, I had shared with you that I feel like I'm constantly hungry, but that when I'm busy, I can go the whole day without eating. But when I am writing, or if I'm sedentary, I'm constantly getting up, constantly needing to move. And I think that's when I eat the most, when I feel my hunger the most. Is it normal? Is it okay for us to ignore our hunger? And because there's people that say, okay, you eat every 2 hours, whether you need to or not. There's so much out there, Dr. Fuhrman, that's just not real. What do you say to people that feel that they have to eat by a certain time constantly when it comes to prolonging our life?
Well, if your diet doesn't have a sufficient nutritional quality, if you're chronically overeating, and especially consuming excessive amounts of animal protein, you build up more aldehydes and uric acids and other toxins that when you don't eat and you stop digesting food, they start to become circulated for removal, and people feel shaky and weak and headachy and feel anxious and feel irritable and feel like they have to eat. Mm-hmm. So that type of hunger I call toxic hunger. It's not real hunger. It's related to withdrawal from your diet, which is too rich. And those are people who sometimes get the diagnosis of hypoglycemia too. Yeah. Doctors put them on frequent meals of high protein foods. Yeah. That's like giving a person a more frequent smoking of a cigarette, another smoke a cigarette to make them feel better from the caffeine, from their nicotine withdrawal. Mm-hmm. In other words, they're getting withdrawal from overeating animal products, so you give them more animal products more frequently so they don't feel the withdrawal from it. So what I'm saying right now is that feeling worse means you're getting better. That's what detoxification means. That's what withdrawal means. That's why people have trouble creating addictions, because they're uncomfortable to get off their addictive behaviors. And food addiction is the #1 addiction in America, and the quality of the American diet is so low that it builds up noxious metabolic byproducts and waste products in the tissues that make you feel like eating because you feel uncomfortable. When you stop eating and the body starts to mobilize and address and remove some of those metabolic and those metabolic toxins that have to be removed. So in other words, it drives people to eat too frequently. Once you're eating a diet that's really clean with lots of green vegetables and high nutrient plants, and you're getting rid of the excess proteins and extra oils and salt and all the junk out of your diet, then you don't feel shaky and weak anymore. The so-called hypoglycemia doesn't exist anymore. You feel nothing in the catabolic phase when you're not digesting food, until the point where you're utilized or burned off all the stored glycogen, where there's no more caloric reserve as a result of that meal, and then you start to get real hunger, which starts to intensify as a mouth and throat sensation.
So when you feel hunger in your neck, you feel it in your neck.
In your neck, right? If what people are thinking, if they're not feeling it in their neck, they're not really feeling true hunger. That's why we want people to do these detox programs or eat so healthy so they can get back in touch with true hunger. Because getting the ability to feel true hunger is tremendously rewarding and pleasurable, because true hunger is not only felt in the neck, it's accompanied by a dramatically heightened taste sensation. So when you eat foods when you're really hungry, they taste that much better. Once people get this, they prefer not to eat when there's food available until they get hungry. They'd rather wait till it tastes better, because food tastes so much better when you eat till you're hungry. So you don't feel like eating after you just ate 2 or 3 hours ago. I'd rather wait the 4 or 5 hours to get hungry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I purposely want to go exercise and rather than eat, because I want to the exercise to help me burn off my glycogen so I can get hungry and eat when I'm really hungry, because that's the most pleasurable way to eat. And also, it's the most consistent way to keep you on eating the right amount of food, because true hunger is a precise computer that directs you the exact amount of calories you require to maintain your lean body weight. You can't become overweight if you're only eating in response to true hunger. For a person to put excessive fat on their body, they have to have eaten outside of the demands of true hunger. They have to have eaten, emotional eating, toxic hunger, recreational eating. They're eating when they're not, or just chronically overeating because that's what they're taught by American society. They're supposed to eat frequently in these rich calorically dense
There's so
meals.
much information out there, Dr. Fuhrman, that is misinformation. So we talked about the digestive process, and then there's the catabolic state, which is the removal of the toxins in the body that occurs when we're sleeping. However, how much time should we wait? Let's say you say go to bed with an empty stomach. How much time does it take for our stomach to empty out before we can go to bed?
About 3 hours.
3 hours.
It depends on what you ate. If you just had vegetable juice or a salad, it could take, an hour and a half or 2 hours or less. Mm-hmm. But the minute you start to put more, beans in there, which are high in protein, and nuts and seeds in there, then you're up to a 3 hour window, 3.5 hour window. So the point is that, I want people to use lunch as the major meal of the day, where they're eating more of their beans and nuts for lunch and greens. So lunch should be like a big salad with a nut-based dressing, a whole vegetable bean soup and a piece of fruit. Dinner maybe should be, a wok vegetable dish and a piece of fruit, maybe less. So it all depends on what you ate. But I think, finishing dinner by 7 o'clock at night is a good pattern. So you really want to eat, if possible, get home from work and eat dinner right away, and then spend the rest of your evening entertaining and doing other things that are relaxing that doesn't involve food.
At the beginning of, Dr. Fuhrman, at the beginning of the show, you had mentioned about how disease is unneeded. It's unnecessary. That if we were to change our lifestyle, that this would completely change the pills that we need, reverse disease, prevent disease. Now, knowing that is the truth about nutritional excellence, there are people that spend more on their exterior than they do on their interior. We start wrinkling. We do all the different things that make us look younger. How does nutritarian lifestyle and changing, slowing down our metabolism, how does that make our exterior match our interior?
Well, just to make one thing clear is that a nutritarian diet is comprised to be the most nutritionally complete and nutritionally dense as far as the anti-cancer phytochemicals and antioxidants that prevent cancer and extend human lifespan.
Great.
So we're picking foods to get that broad spectrum of exposure. It colors our skin. If you notice, my skin tone might be a little more orange than other people's, except for other people eating a nutritarian diet. Yours would be too, compared to people who look fleshy and pink.
Yeah.
You could look at their skin and go, boy, they're just a cancer, waiting to get cancer because they don't have the phytochemicals and antioxidants in their tissues. So the nutritarian diet is not only excellent in the exposure to these anti-cancer protective nutrients, but it's designed to be very comprehensive in its exposure, to be comprehensively adequate, to make sure you're not missing any particular nutrient that can extend human life or prevent dementia or cancer. So there's so much sloppiness and so much radicalism in this field, and I'm trying to say a nutritarian diet is held up as the gold standard. If you don't want to eat this way, at least learn about it so you know exactly what's ideal, and then you could see how much you're deviating. For example, some low-fat vegan diets don't recommend people take DHA as a supplement. And if they're not eating fish, or they're not, and many people, I'd say the majority of people, are not going to make an optimal amount of DHA for maximal brain longevity. You're going to lose memory loss or get demented as you get older. And you get to, especially when you get past the age of 85 to not to 100 years old. If you're going to live that long, then you might as well protect the brain. And too many people on vegan diets are not being careful enough to make sure they have DHA adequacy as they age. A lot of them know about B12 adequacy.
Let's talk a little bit about that. And when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com, we'll be right here waiting for you. I could listen to the last second, Dr. Fuhrman, because so there are a lot of vegan diets out there that promote low fat, and with the DHA, you get that only through animal products, or
yes, only through animal products. There's no DHA in plant foods. There's ALA, which is alpha-linolenic acid, and the body can make EPA from ALA, and then it can make some DHA from the EPA as well. But the conversion is very low, about 3 to 4%.
Okay.
So the conversion is so low and so variable in different genetic types, and so variable from person to person, that most people on a vegan diet do not make optimal amounts of DHA. Some do, because I tested like 166 vegans in the study that they tested it, which our Nutritional Research Foundation funded that study, where we took 166 vegans and who were not supplementing to see how much their omega-3 index, and about 66% were insufficient. About a third had enough, but not ideal levels. But in any case, the point that I'm making is that there is a lot of depression and dementia in vegans that is swept under the rug, because diet high in fruits and vegetables helps with depression and dementia too, because the lack of fruits and vegetables also creates dementia and depression. So just because but among vegans, there's still a lot of depression, but it's not the only thing that causes dementia and depression is the lack of vegetables in your diet. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So just having omega-3 is in the general population, your standard diet, just taking DHA is not going to protect against dementia and depression. You got to do both.
So how do we get
plant diet and an adequate amount of DHA?
So how do we get the DHA? Do you suggest a small piece of animal product, or how do you suggest that we get it? Fish?
No. I'm vegans and also people who are on nutritarian or flexitarian diets eating a little bit of animal products. I'm saying the animal product consumption is not sufficient to give them adequate. I don't want them to eat so many animal products.
I understand.
Have to get to get an adequate DHA. So rather than use an algae-based DHA supplement, they're available all over the place. But the algae supplement that we make available at drfuhrman.com is one that's a little unique in the fact that we pack it in dark glass and we keep it refrigerated, and we have it shipped to us in refrigerated trucks. So we're just paying a little more attention to keeping it fresh.
I need to try one of yours because, I tend to eat very, 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 if one could say I'm vegan, I eat very, very little animal products. Whenever I eat animal products, my heel hurts. My right foot heel, when I step on it in the morning for the first time, it hurts. And so I've noticed that pattern. I thought, if I have a little bit of animal product like fish, wild caught fish, I should be okay. But the next morning, I feel that pain in my heel, and it kind of like is a reminder. Now, I don't know if
maybe it makes you lose your voice too.
Yeah, that was the kaboom. My voice went boom. But so I'll try your DHA to see if that'll work with me. You're saying that yours. Okay, I'll direct people through my website because I have it in my website as well.
Yeah, for years and years, I used to recommend they take either fish oil or another brand of algae-based DHA for vegans. There's one company that has a monopoly that makes all the algae-based DHA and that's available in the United States.
Here we go.
5959.
Sorry, Dr. Fuhrman.
Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn with one another. And today's teacher is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. Today, the 15th caller to leave a message or texter will win the book, The End of Dieting. So call 407-373-5959. That number again is 407-373-5959. Dr. Joel Fuhrman and I have just finished off-the-air conversation of this DHA. I want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Check out the video once it's published on YouTube. There's a button that says YouTube. You can just go straight there. Dr. Joel Fuhrman has a vitamin supplement of DHA, and you can get that in his website. I have a button on my Lily's Favorite at whenyouneedafriend.com, since you're going to be there exploring my website anyway, just click on that button. It'll take you to Dr. Joel Fuhrman's site, and you'll be able to see all his vitamins and supplements that he has as well. Now, I just want to be clear, Dr. Fuhrman, because, as much as I do this show and as many people as I have on my show, it's confusing still to me what we can do, what is real, what is not real. And with DHA, I've heard of DHA. You're saying that the clinical trials that you did with 166 vegans, wasn't it? You said
yes, 166 vegans who are not supplementing.
Yes.
I was not one of the researchers that performed the study, but the Nutritional Research Foundation, which I'm the president of, did fund the study. We paid for the study.
You paid for the study, and there was only a third of them.
Excuse me?
Only a third of them had adequate DHA.
That's correct. Yes. Non-supplementing vegans, about 27%, about a third of them had an adequate DHA level, and 2/3 did not. The interesting part was that it did not correlate with the quality of their diet, whether they were off oil, whether they were eating flax seeds or walnuts. It really demonstrated that it's genetic differences in conversion enzyme activity. And some people had very, very low levels who were eating very healthfully and consuming ALA, which is a precursor, showing that you can't just take some walnuts or from flax seeds and assume you're going to make enough DHA, which many in the vegan community, many of those vegan gurus advocate. Just take some walnuts or some flax seeds in your salad and you'll be fine. And then that person could obviously be very severely demented. A level of DHA omega-3 index below 3.5 is linked to shrinkage of the brain, especially in the memory areas of the brain. And once your brain starts to shrink, you're not going to get that brain size and memory back. What I'm saying to you right now is DHA doesn't treat dementia. You can't take it and grow the brain back once you shrunk it already. So it's not effective to wait until you have a problem, then it's too late. It's only preventative against developing these problems. You can't fix the brain once it's damaged like that. So the point is that there's a certain degree of cavalier irresponsibility in many in the vegan community who are not careful enough. They don't err on the side of caution here. And I'm saying that there's a lot of depression and a lot of dementia among vegans, especially as they age. And it's almost covered up because when people don't eat fruits and vegetables, they get demented and they get depressed. So if fruits and vegetables cure depression, or fruits and vegetables can help prevent depression too. But so I'm saying that it's not, you can't just say there's more depression among standard American diet eaters that makes the DHA not a problem in vegans, because there's still a significant amount of depression and dementia in vegans caused by DHA deficiency. And why have any in either group? It's a combination of a high diet, high in nutrients with DHA adequacy. And I was saying earlier that my years of medical practice, when people were using fish oil or vegan DHA supplied by the one company in America that makes it, it's a monopoly, you'd still get people with burping and bad breath and indigestion. So I'd have the fats, the DHA fat, analyzed, and there was some rancidity or a lot of rancidity in the fat. It's called the TBA scores. But anyway, so we sat down with the company and said, well, how can we get this fresher? How can we get the rancidity out? And they said, well, you just have to have people buy it and keep it in the refrigerator. So then we started ordering some packed in glass bottles, shipped to us in refrigerated trucks. We keep it on refrigeration, so when people order it, they're getting something that's fresh and not sitting outside in a health food store at room temperature in a plastic bottle for a year before they start taking it. Because if they do use that product, then they should at least take a serrated knife and cut open the capsule and taste it to make sure it doesn't taste like gasoline, it doesn't taste rancid. It should be a flat, clean taste. And that's why, so I'm saying if you have any DHA that's at room temperature for 6 months or for a year, then make sure it tastes fresh. Don't put rotten oil in your body. We just take a little more care to try to get the product to be fresh without needing to use a preservative and to make sure it's not rancid when the people get their product.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding this clearly. DHA, many of us don't produce it even if we have nutritional excellence. And you're saying what I'm hearing you say is that DHA is something we should add as a supplement to our nutritional excellence.
Right. DHA and EPA normally come from fish, from fatty fish. And people who are eating fish regularly get enough, and people using fish oil get enough, are getting it from that source. Fish oils generally have too much omega-3 oils in them, and taking too much can suppress immunity, increase risk of pneumonia. So it's not good to take the large amounts in fish oils or to eat too much fish, because fish is polluted, and it's a polluted source of DHA, and it gives you too much animal protein as well. So I'm advocating people eat less animal products, very small amounts or none. And for those vegans or near vegans following my recommendations, I don't want to take a chance with anyone who's going to be living that long, then developing some brain problem because of DHA insufficiency.
Okay, so
DHA and EPA commonly gotten from fish, but you can be on a vegan diet, and even if I do recommend your source should be a vegan DHA supplement, not a fish-based supplement.
Okay, so with your DHA, the product that you have on you can go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click onto my favorites, and Dr. Fuhrman's vitamins. You can get it there. With the DHA that you have, is that from plants or is it from fish?
It's from algae. It's the one.
Yours is from algae.
It's made from algae that's grown in a laboratory. It's not wild algae.
Okay.
It's commercially grown. It's commercially grown algae grown in a laboratory, so they can remove the DHA from it. So it's plant-derived.
Yours
DHA.
is plant-derived. Got it. Okay. So that was what I was missing. Now, I also heard from a psychologist that was on my show that you wanted to have EPA and DHA at a higher level. I think it was like over, I think I'm just quoting some figures that I'm going on my memory, that you wanted to have more than 600 EPA and a list 200 DHA, that combination, that balance. Is that real? What is the combination balance that we need to strive for?
No, that's only to treat depression or treat mental illness.
Okay.
Or autoimmune diseases, we give people a lot because we want the suppressive effects of EPA. EPA is immune suppressive. It means it's not so great to take long term, but it's safer than taking a drug for an autoimmune disease that's really immune. So it has mild immunosuppressive effects. So in high dosages, the EPA might be effective for a person with Crohn's or colitis, would be recommended for that, or a person with rheumatoid arthritis, or some of those are fish oil responsive people. And when we're using those high doses, you have to use fish oil. It was being too prohibitively expensive to use an algae product to get that high level. But with people who are acutely depressed, it's shown that EPA used in high dose can both potentiate an antidepressant or be used as an antidepressant, which we do that. We use saffron, 5-HTP, morning light therapy, and DHA. And EPA, high-dose EPA, as a means of treating people with major depression and seasonal affective disorder, instead of using drugs, which can make people more dependent on the medications. And this non-medicated approach is much safer. So yes, I'm agreeing with that psychiatrist. The dose was correct. But that's a treatment for people who have mental illness or depression. I don't recommend regular people who don't have problems take that. That's not a preventative dose. That's a therapeutic dose. You follow me?
Got it. Okay. So that's good to know. And by the way, for those of you who are in the Heal Tribe Space Coast, Dr. Joel Fuhrman is going to make an appearance. He's going to answer our questions, our health issues. So make sure that you RSVP for that event on May 30th. And that number is 407-373-5959. I'm so excited about Dr. Fuhrman being a part of our talk. And we're going to also have him on Zoom. And for those of you who want to join us on Zoom, just let me know, and then we'll give you the code to access this. Dr. Fuhrman, I am so excited to always see you once a month at least. This week, next week I get to see you again. And I'm so thrilled that you have made such a big difference in the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Fuhrman.
My pleasure.
And to you, my listening friends, 407-373-5959, 15th caller or texter to win the book, The End of Dieting. Remember, you can never unlearn the truth. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job, Dr. Fuhrman, as always. Is there anything that we did not cover today that you'd like to, before I shut off the recording? Is there anything that we did not?
Well, we can talk about it next time. We didn't really cover the main topic of the show, is how to age slower, and we didn't really get to the point.
I thought we said slow age.
We did a little bit, but we didn't really talk about how you mentioned it. You talked about how favorable it was to get the metabolic rate slower, but we didn't talk about how to get the metabolic rate slower, what happens when you get the metabolic rate slower, why people think getting the metabolic rate faster is better, and why your thyroid should be better run lower function and higher function, your body temperature to be lower, your respiratory quotient to be lower. We want to eat less food so our metabolism slows down. And then how come when we take excess calories, we get fat, but if we take too little calories, we don't get too thin because our metabolic rate slows down accordingly to keep ourselves at a right weight. So so we didn't really go into the depth on that.
Okay, then that's what we'll do for next time because I thought we were talking about that as well. So that will be
but we didn't really get it didn't go deep enough into it.
And then I will just focus on that next time because there's so much information out there that is contra this belief in slow aging, faster metabolism, right. and it's leading us to our grave faster. And I remember my sister saying that she doesn't exercise because she believes that she only has a certain amount of heartbeats in her lifetime, and she doesn't want to tempt fate and get the heartbeats too high. But that was her in the past. Now she does exercise and she does that. But
she's not totally wrong, by the way, because over-exercising, you have a diminishing return. You exercise, no exercise is bad. You exercise in that mid-range. But then if you overdo exercise, you can be aging yourself too fast.
Really? That would be, I'm going to add that to our next people that are like marathon runners, triathlons, and all of that.
That's right. It's not lifespan favorable to be exercising that much.
Yikes. Okay. Dr. Fuhrman, as always, it's great to have you on the show, and I'm looking forward to our conversation next week.
Okay.
Okay. Take care. Bye.